Hi everyone, welcome back. It is Saturday, it is evening, we're all still alive, I'm pretty sure, and things are still dropping a little bit, but it's nothing compared to what we all just witnessed yesterday. What we're going to talk about today is the aftermath of everything that happened. We're going to talk about some suspicious positions that have been opened. We're going to talk about other people's analysis, reaction, and everything as to what to expect coming up next. Um, Spoiler alert, what I'm expecting is just sideways movement at the bottom until people start regaining confidence again. We need the peace in the Middle East, which Trump is going there Sunday to sign everything, have his news conferences or whatever, his photo ops on Monday, and that should all hopefully be taken care of. I'm already hearing there's a bit of issues with, like, oh, there's 10 hostages missing from Hamas. It's like, okay. But there's that. We're expecting government shutdown to end in the upcoming weeks, hopefully. Hopefully sooner than later, right? We're expecting ETFs to start getting approved again. But what's going to repair the damage that was done? We're starting off on a clean slate. Okay, that is just... It is what it is. We're starting off on a clean slate. Nobody has leverage right now. I say nobody, but yeah, like 90% of people are not leveraged at the current moment. Because like everybody was wiped out, no matter what amount of leverage you were using. I'm talking specifically on altcoins, you were wiped out, guaranteed. Okay. So now people are getting a little nervous. Where is the bottom? Okay, we wicked all the way down to infinity. Some cases zero. I'll talk about other altcoins and how low they went, the more notable ones. And now people are wondering, okay, where's our next support levels? Where's the next areas of liquidation? People are kind of like playing it slow. And I mean, even now, people are still getting liquidated, trying to guess that, yeah, this is probably the bottom and it's up only from here. No, it's probably not. So I'd caution against that for the time being. You can still enter with leverage. I still think 3x leverage is safe. I know that's, call it Stockholm Syndrome, call it whatever you want. I think it's safe. I think we'll survive with 3x leverage. I don't think we're going to have another liquidation event like the one that we just saw yesterday. That happens, like, that was the only time we've ever seen that in crypto history. I'm sure we've seen it in worse cases like FTX crash, COVID crash. Those are pretty bad. But something dropping as significantly as we have seen these, like, come on, SUI to 50 cents, Atom to literally zero, that's not going to happen again. Hate to break it to you. Or I'm happy to break that to you, rather. Because that should give you the confidence that, hey, there's no more positions to liquidate. There's no such thing as a long squeeze for the time being, for the foreseeable future. Right now, people are going to start piling up again, little by little. I know right now it seems really gleam. It seems like nobody wants to enter the crypto market at all. But eventually they will. We've seen recoveries. We've seen worse crashes. We've seen Bitcoin at 74,000 and we've seen it rally immediately to 100K plus. Not immediately, but over the course of a couple weeks. Literally look at last week. Everybody thought it was over at 108,000. We rallied to an all-time high of 126,000. You know, most of it, sure, you can blame Trump. It's all thanks to Trump. Trump gives, Trump takes away. I did the math on my portfolio. I really was trying to put it off and not do it, but yeah, I did the math on it. I'm basically back to where I was back in December. Right after Trump won, I took some small profits after Trump won, and that is where my portfolio is right now, meaning that anything from December, well, say January of 2025, all of my hard work for these past 10 months was wiped out in that crash. I'll just leave it at that. I'm still surviving. I'm still okay. You know, this is money I'm able to afford to lose. I keep my expenses low. I don't have a family to provide for. I'm perfectly fine. I don't got to worry about the money. I'm noticing, like, all throughout crypto Twitter, it's getting pretty crazy. People are literally killing themselves over this. There are people who are getting liquidated for millions of dollars. Tens of millions of dollars. They're screenshotting their portfolios, their PNL. It's a lot of red. It's a bloodbath. Nobody would have survived it. We all thought alt season was coming, October, la la la. I think you guys get the point. I'm not going to ramble on for too much. We're going to get into the analysis. We're going to talk about all that stuff. We're going to talk about the survivors, the surviving coins, right? And also the exchanges. What's been going on with the exchanges? Why did they all get faulty? Why did we see lots of crashes to such low prices? Which exchanges were valid and able to survive all that? And potentially some insiders. Welcome, Donnie Connell. Not selling. Yeah, good job. Does it make sense to swap crap coin bags for coin more likely to recover? Not financial advice. Of course. Depending on, I guess, what you would call a crap coin. If we're talking like meme coins or coins that are like, we obviously know that are dead for this cycle, right? It would be a good idea to reevaluate what you would want to enter into, right? I don't even know which specifically to call out, but, you know, because, okay, I studied most of these projects and I know what they do, and I'm like, yeah, I could see a use case for them. But sure, if you want to look at it like, okay, Ethereum. You have Ethereum. Ethereum is good, sure. We're expecting a lot of good stuff for Ethereum, but why have Ethereum when it's so big, so expensive, when you could get something like Solana? Cheaper, faster, better. Okay, Solana's a good option. Great. And then, I don't know, people would look at SUI. Why would you want SUI if you have Solana? Well, arguably SUI has more transactions per second, is faster, smaller, and has more growth potential if you want to grow your capital. I don't know. I really don't know how to answer that. So if you're talking meme coins, sure, like, I don't know, Shiba Inu, this is going nowhere. Get out of there. I hate to say it, but Pepe, it's probably not going to do too well. It's an Ethereum meme coin, and Pepe is a great meme overall. But you should probably invest in a legitimate project. Like, I'm pretty sure we're done with, you know, meme coin projects. They genuinely hold no value. There's nothing going on. You're just buying it for the meme, right? You could buy into Ondo that has, like, genuine good use cases. X stocks, bringing tokenized on-chain data, all that stuff. So it's more a matter of, like, yeah, if you have any coin that you realize, like, this probably doesn't have too much potential and I could move that over to something that does genuinely have good potential, I would suggest, yeah, sure, that could be the case. So you have Link, Ethereum, Solana, and ISO bags. It's the small cap stuff, no memes, good. Link, Ethereum, Solana, good. ISO bags, what do you mean by that? Not sure what you mean by ISO bags. This is what I'm holding right now, and cross out World Liberty Finance. I think I might get rid of that. I don't know. I don't know whether or not to trust the Trump family at this point anymore. But these are the ones that I'm going to be going forward with. Here's my list. Bitcoin, Ethereum. I'm probably going to get rid of Ethereum though. Solana, because I think Solana is better than Ethereum. Got World Liberty Finance in there. SUI, Chainlink, Hyperliquid, and Aptos. I'm genuinely liking this sort of the L1 ecosystems that are provided by Solana, by SUI, by Aptos, right? Hyperliquid is going to be the best decentralized exchange. I have some news on them that I'll be covering as well. Oh, I see what you mean. XRP, XLM, QNT. Yeah, you could probably have those, but it's, I don't know. I've never been too much of a fan of XRP. I prefer Stellar over XRP. I'm not too sure about QNT. I haven't really looked into that project, but yeah, if you do feel like those don't have too much potential, it's probably a good idea to rotate into better stuff. Here's stuff that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be getting rid of Ethereum, World Liberty Finance, when I have the chance to. And I think that's it, really. I'm sticking with Bitcoin, Solana, SUI, Aptos. I like those projects. SUI, Aptos, Solana, they're genuinely good. I feel like I have a soft spot for Sonic as well, but Sonic's done me really dirty. One of my largest positions that I lost in, but it's fine. I think I probably will reinvest in that when I see that it's starting to pick up steam again. Right now, they're all pretty dead. Chainlink, genuinely good project. It's a must-have. Hyperliquid, best decentralized exchange. L1, good ecosystem. That's the ones I would go for. So yeah, no problem. That's what I think about it so far. All right. So Bitcoin's current price 110,132. We were just below that a couple minutes ago, so that's why you see 109 in the thumbnail, but it is what it is. I still have a trigger order all the way down here for Bitcoin. I don't think we're going to reach that at all, but you never know anyway. Yeah, alt's already just gone. Even if Bitcoin drops, altcoins will feel nothing, I think, at this point. They've been through hell. But if this does come down here, I will be buying more for Bitcoin. And I think I'm still fine with 5x leverage on Bitcoin, because even if you did have 5x leverage on Bitcoin, you did not get liquidated. Bitcoin was the only asset that was holding strong. Someone pointed this out in the comments, is the Bitcoin dominance also rising like crazy, going from 60 to 63% almost, while that whole altcoin leverage situation, the liquidations, was happening. So just goes to show that people are willing to flock over to Bitcoin in times of uncertainty, which that is what we want. Bitcoin is supposed to be the digital gold. Nonetheless, is not fully seen upon that way, which is why Bitcoin still drops and why gold still rises, like the actual gold prices. So it's going to take some time for the world to adopt to that kind of a point of view, right? That's what we got so far. Ethereum down 2% right now. 3,731. I have an average price at 4,055. What am I doing with Ethereum? I think this is me just adding extra leverage. I don't think this is the amount of money I do have in here. It's spooky right now to add leverage and stuff. Ethereum was one of the ones that was dropping the most. And not in this specific drop, but in the last drops when we had tariff announcements back in April, back in February, even in March, right? Trump announces a 10% tariff on aluminum and steel. Okay, Ethereum's just going to crash 30% in one day for absolutely no reason. That's kind of the reason where I'm like, I really don't want to start investing in Ethereum at these prices. I still feel like Ethereum is pretty high. It's overvalued in my opinion. And for the growth potential that it's got, sure, you got a lot of institutions that are in there. You could agree on that, but you're going to get that same institutional adoption for other assets like maybe Solana, which is probably going to be replacing Ethereum at some point because of how good Solana's blockchain is. Look at this. I'm also making fees on Solana. By the way, you know what? Never mind. I took profit on my Trump meme coin thing. The bonus position that I got yesterday. Very tiny profit, $5. Great. And well, I guess I'll talk about what BingX has done for me when we get to the news section. Because exchanges were also offering compensation for this huge liquidation event. Although it's not too much, it's nothing compared to what we all lost. Although you could agree this is the exchanges' fault. Why we're seeing those prices on all those assets, those altcoins that dropped so hard. It's the exchange's fault. The altcoins did not actually drop to those like really low prices that you're seeing on your charts, by the way. It's an issue with the exchanges being illiquid, not being able to fill a lot of orders, and a lot of people over leveraging, of course. It's the kind of stuff that happens. So, yeah, everybody got liquidated. Could have been coordinated. Who knows? Moving on. So, Ethereum, I'm not going to touch it. Leaving it there. Solana. Solana did the meme on me where, you know, I put an order at 140 and it drops to 142 and it does not get filled and it just, you know, rises back up again. I would have been in really good profit by now, I think. Whatever. I don't know. Maybe this would not have even gotten filled because of how fast everything was just crashing at that point. Maybe it would have. It should have. It happened to me one time on World Liberty Finance. I had a limit order at one price. The price dropped exactly to that line, bounced back up. My order didn't get filled, even though it landed exactly, like decimals and everything, on that line of my limit order. It's on my previous streams. I guess you could go find it if you care, but yeah. So there's instances like that where sometimes it will get there, but maybe, I don't know, there's issues with the exchange. It doesn't get your order filled. because of bid and ask and stuff like that, right? Solana's current price is 174. Still oversold if you care at all. Spot is the safest place to be accumulating at this current moment. What I've seen people do, this is a cool tip that I've seen people do, is they will actually enter at these prices at 1x leverage. I know it sounds crazy. You're entering the futures market with 1x leverage. What, you want to beat yourself up with funding fees? The short answer is no, because if this is the bottom, you were buying at 1x, meaning that your liquidation price is 0 at the current moment. And if things start rising again, you just bought the bottom. And you can remove margin, give yourself the leverage, right? You decide where your liquidation price is going to be. You use that extra margin that you just took out from that 1x position that now becomes a, I don't know, give it a 3x or a 5x, whatever you want. And you can use that money to keep buying other positions and ride the wave upwards once things start recovering once again. It's a smart thing to do. I don't think I will do that. I'll stick with my 3x thing. But yeah, the biggest assets, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, those did not drop, meaning that those are the strongest projects, the ones that most people have the most amount of faith in. Ethereum because it's so big already, Solana because it's the runner-up, and Bitcoin because it's just Bitcoin. Everybody trusts Bitcoin, and the dominance for it rose up so much during these crashes, as we just saw. You know what, I'll show you the chart. I talked about it, but I didn't show you the chart. I apologize. Here's the chart. Bitcoin dominance going from like sub 60%, shooting all the way up to 62.31%, currently hovering at 60.56%. I think it'll be safe to enter altcoins if you care when Bitcoin dominance starts dropping below 60% once again. Some would argue maybe you'll be too late for that, but if you want to be safe, that's probably the right thing to do. Hyperliquid. I hate this, man. The fact that it dropped to 21 and I was buying like crazy on this drop and I got liquidated. Like I bought Hyperliquid because I thought it was oversold. It kept on crashing. I bought again, and I put another trigger order so that I don't get liquidated to push my liquidation price further down. And then I started focusing on everything else, and I don't know, I had issues. I refreshed my page, half my positions are gone, and Hyperliquid was also gone. It just got liquidated, filled my order, and even that order got liquidated. So it's just like me throwing money in the garbage can at that point. Couldn't get saved on that. 50% drop. Crazy. Well, we have since then recovered to basically where we are right now. 36. Okay. I entered at 38 again. I still have my trust in Hyperliquid. I do genuinely know it's a good project. So yeah, I'm still betting on it. Like I said, to get another liquidation event like this, it's not going to happen. Never again. I shouldn't say never. Maybe once in like a decade, I'll give you, sure. But no, I don't think we're going to see this kind of stuff happen again. That is why I feel safe by entering again with 3x leverage. Call me crazy, 3x leverage is still good in my opinion. A 30% crash into the day. When have you ever seen that apart from yesterday? Right? Maybe that'll be for the death of me at that point because I'm still not using the stop loss. If I use a stop loss on a volatile market with leverage, you're just begging to lose money. I'd rather just lose it all when it hits a liquidation event like that. And I've said it a couple times, like, hey, if you're able to liquidate this, I was looking at charts like Polkadot, Aptos, Compound. 3x leverage, your liquidation price is below historical minimums. Prices that we have never seen those assets hit in history. At least in the historical chart that I'm using. So I thought, yeah, 3x leverage, it's guaranteed money. No, it really isn't sometimes. In a liquidation event like that, I was like, you know what? If you are able to liquidate this, congratulations, you deserve to make me lose my money. Go for it. And it did. And I learned my lesson. So anyway, SUI was the one that hurt everyone the most. I also have a very soft spot for SUI. But yeah, 56 cents. Come on. Come on, guys. Anyway, we're on the way down right now. 247. I have an entry at 266. I'm happy with that entry. 266. I was struggling at SUI, trying to drop it from 330, I think was my average price in the past. Seeing it rise to 270 almost. Me about to take profit. I didn't take profit on SUI. I was making 1,600, I think. I decided like, yeah, no, SUI's gonna go above $4, maybe even $5. I'll be making like 10 grand when we hit that. No, it dropped and I lost all the money that I had in there. What was it, 6,000? Plus orders that got filled right after. So it was crucial. Nothing could have saved you from this drop on SUI. Being $3 to being worth 50 cents. Crazy. Anyways, we're still oversold. Everything is oversold. Everything's free for you to buy. Yeah. And Chainlink. Basically what you're seeing at the top over here are the coins that I'm probably going to stick with. Maybe I'll get rid of Ethereum, but I have to analyze Ethereum because it's such a large asset and I talk about it most of the times. We do use Ethereum for a lot of stuff, so it is an important project. I'll admit it. It's an OG one, but I don't want to invest in it. Chainlink, $16.92. My average entry is $17.77. That's fine. If it does continue dropping, I don't know. We're getting new pivot levels tomorrow. We'll see. It's going to be so bad, though. The pivot levels that we're going to get tomorrow, I think will be so unreliable for the week because of the amount of volatility that we just got on literally every altcoin. They're going to have this huge distance between each other that is just going to be impossible to hit any. That being said, any levels that we do get, it will be an important level because everybody else will see that same level, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay, well, we'll see. I still have a lot of faith in Chainlink. Chainlink, genuinely a good project. Everything uses it. It's the best Oracle play out there, so I'll stick with that. If in the future things start rising again and I'm feeling a bit risky, I'll go into Pyth as well. It's the same thing as Chainlink, but, you know, with Solana. Yeah. I've gotten rid of all those other tokens that I would usually analyze, which would be Litecoin, XRP, remind me. I was looking at Polkadot, Hedera, Athena, Aave. I studied all those. They're genuinely good projects, but I don't know. Will they perform well? Who knows? In a alt season, everything will perform well, so you can't go wrong there if you do have any sort of an altcoin. But when it comes to these kinds of crashes, what altcoins would get sold off first? That is one thing you're going to have to pay attention to. Arguably, every altcoin will get sold off. I don't know. There's no saving you from this. I like the volatility that World Liberty Finance brings. I like the volatility that Solana brings, SUI, Aptos, and Hyperliquid is just very strong in most occasions. So I like that. Low volatility would be, in my opinion, Ethereum, Chainlink, and Bitcoin. Yeah. I have to add Aptos to my favorites if I'm going to care about this at all. So here we go. Okay, that is all I've got for technical analysis. If you guys want to review any other specific coin, just like let me know. I'll have a look at it. But for now, I don't want to see them. Those charts are horrible. Nobody wants to look at that. Am I right? Among the most notable, by the way, this is what happened yesterday in summary. Literally all these projects I was talking about. Oh, Cardano. Oh, boy. Atom, Cosmos, went from $4 to $0. Top position. This is like the coin of the year. What would we call this? If we had like a crypto awards for this year of 2025, biggest drop of the year, I think would be Atom. Like this is a 100% drop. I did the math. 100% drop. Nothing would have saved you. You're done. On Cosmos, you're done. Anyway, SUI, number 2. Most horrendous crash, going from 3.40 to 56 cents. Aptos, a favorite of mine as well, going from $5 to 75 cents. That was pretty harsh. How much did Aptos drop on this chart? It shows this one at 174. It just goes to show that every exchange has a different low point, and it just has to do on how liquid those exchanges are, right? Say going from 28 cents to 7 cents, that's not too bad. Chainlink going from 22 to $8. Not too bad either. Cardano was harsh though. 80 cents to 30 cents. Yeah. The top 100 blue chips nuked 80% in just a few minutes. Alright. Yeah, that is true. That is what happened. But with this, there were signs. If you paid attention, there were signs. And in retrospect, I was looking at this and I'm like, Yeah, there were signs. How didn't I know? But it's like, okay, this is after the fact, of course. Like, oh, right. That did happen, and I should have known that we were going to have an 80% crash on literally everything. I don't know about the 80% part because nobody would have predicted that. But the fact that World Liberty Finance was dropping 30% before that tariff announcement from Trump that he would be putting a 100% tariff on China. World Liberty Finance was the first to drop and the hardest. My original position on World Liberty Finance got liquidated. I saw that and I'm like, oh, well, that's not good. That got liquidated. This other dumb coin I was in, Research Coin from Coinbase, that got liquidated, which I didn't care about. It was only $100. On World Liberty Finance, though, I did have a bid in there, and I'm like, okay, well, I just got liquidated on World Liberty Finance. Cool. That means it had a 30% drop. Cool. That means it's really oversold, and I'm going to buy again. And that is why we see this over here, ladies and gentlemen, my current open position on World Liberty Finance. And it didn't come to my mind that, hey, if the insiders at World Liberty Finance, this means the Trump family are selling, I don't know, I didn't click on my mind, but it would have been your idea that this Trump family knows something. They're about to announce something that is going to crash markets. They got out in time, the Trump family, I'm assuming. And then what came after was the announcement itself, the post from Trump that said we were going to be putting 100% tariff on China. And then this huge crash happened. I first took it as, okay, Trump announced that there's this issue with China and that he's going to plan something to do about it, right? And then I saw, Trump meme coin fall. I saw the S&P 500 fall. I saw World Liberty Finance liquidate me, and I'm like, okay, well, this seems to be just a direct attack on Trump because World Liberty Finance got liquidated and Bitcoin is still like down 2% or whatever. Altcoins were down a little bit more, like 4 or 5%. It wasn't too bad. And then at 5 p.m. that announcement came out, 100% tariff on China, boom. And then World Liberty Finance did another huge drop, and all the altcoins had their 80% drop. So that right there would have been the first signal for me to get out of the markets, but I didn't know. Nobody knew. An OG whale opened a $1 billion short position in Bitcoin and Ethereum. The White House tariff announcement happened after the US markets closed. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing, guys. Like I said, the announcement happened at 5 p.m. Markets close at 4 p.m. This is so that, to try to mitigate the impact on the S&P 500, because we know how much Wall Street hates those tariffs. Look at April 7, worst day in S&P 500. They hate the tariffs. And, well, Wall Street, who was invested, I guess, in their own markets, right? They couldn't do anything because the markets were closed. So they couldn't panic sell the way that they did with crypto. And that is probably why, since crypto is a 24/7 market, one of the disadvantages of being 24/7 and one of the disadvantages of importing Wall Street is you become the Wall Street and they sell off. And then that is why we saw that huge liquidation. Exchanges, this was a big issue. BitUnix, Binance, I'm hearing MEXC, I think, or BitMEX, one of the two. Lots of exchanges, nonetheless, stopped working. They were crashing. You reload the page, your positions aren't there. Same thing with my exchange, to be honest, because I was adding margin to positions. I was trying to add orders. It was giving me like these fatal errors. Like I had to refresh the page a couple of times. And everything was getting liquidated. At one point, I was like, oh, add margin. And then I'm like, you can't add margin to this position. I'm like, why not? I refresh and half my stuff is gone. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I just got liquidated on everything. Great. And then I'm seeing like 80% crash on like SUI and all this stuff. I was like, okay, well, what just happened? Did Satoshi Nakamoto revive? Did World War III break out? Did Trump talk bad about cryptocurrencies? Did we realize everything was a huge scam all along? What happened? No, it was literally just tariffs. Wintermute, market makers, sent $700 million right before the alt's big dump. Possibly coordinated. It all feels like a planned thing. Hope you're safe. Yeah, there was definitely people that knew, for sure. You can't deny that. Yesterday's insider day. So this insider, for instance, if you're taking it from the perspective of World Liberty Finance, as I explained, they receive insider information that President Trump will put huge tariffs on China. Okay, they sell off their World Liberty Finance, causing the first initial 30% crash where I got liquidated the first time. They start making Hyperliquid accounts because it's anonymous, no KYC. They deposit tens of millions of dollars of their World Liberty financial profits. They open shorts right before the announcements, and then they close shorts, and then they take home $190 million in profits. It's nasty. These people genuinely do that, and we don't know who they are because it's all decentralized. Sure, we could probably get ZEC XBT to trace wallets, but it's just so much. There are genuinely people who profited off of our downfall, my downfall. I have no resentment against them. Hey, well played. If you have that kind of power, if you took the right steps in life to the point where you're getting insider info from the president to make a trade, it's scummy, but hey, congratulations, I guess. It's not in my right to judge. We leave that to God, right? Anyway, moving on. Anonymous trader opened a massive crypto position shorts just 30 minutes before President Trump's tariff announcement yesterday, making an estimated $192 million in profit. Even Quiver Quantitative is posting on this, so they will let us know if any politicians have some unexplained jump in net worth, specifically if they suddenly gained $192 million in net worth. They'll let us know if any politicians have gained on that, because it had to have been a politician or a relative of a politician. And it was somebody close to Trump during that time. He was like, okay, get the Truth Social post ready. I'm going to announce a 100% tariff on China. But just wait until the U.S. markets close because it's going to crash the markets. I look at them every day. And, you know, whoever was like, yes, sir, Mr. Trump, we'll do that. And then they call up their wife, hey, make a Hyperliquid account right now and go short on everything. Yeah, whatever. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Specifically on Hyperliquid, there's one whale shorting Bitcoin and Ethereum yesterday, placing shorts up until exactly 1 minute before Trump threatened tariffs against China. It cannot get more exact than that. 1 minute before the tariffs, you're placing these huge shorts, betting on a huge downfall. How many leverage do we know? If it's something like above 25x leverage, then it's like, okay, guaranteed you're insider trader. It doesn't show me here on this screenshot. Do we know the address? Last short was placed at 2049 GMT, and the tweet came out at 2050 GMT. I'm assuming this means like 4:49 p.m. and 4:50 p.m. is when the tweet came out. At 5 p.m. is when I'm rounding it up to where everything crashed, right? $190 million in profits in less than 24 hours. Maybe the greatest insider trade ever. Yeah, you're up there with Nancy Pelosi, I'll give you that. Yeah. Oh, the whale in question, probably Barron Trump. Hey, that guy's made millions, you know? Suspicious. Everybody's talking about this Hyperliquid whale, but very few people are talking about the fact that World Liberty Finance nuked 30% even before Trump's 100% tariff announcement, which means that somebody got the news in advance, literally dumped his entire stash. Maybe watching the World Liberty Finance chart will give us a signal on what's coming next. That could be a lesson for the future. If you see World Liberty Finance crash amid a potential that Trump is going to announce some sort of a tariff, you'll know for the future that, hey, it's time to close all your positions, short everything, and ride the wave for the next upcoming hours in the future. If that ever does happen again, we'll see. Last night, Binance went down, lighter was done, but Hyperliquid, there was zero downtime during one of the largest liquidation cascades ever. Hyperliquid made millions in fees and buybacks. HLP made over $40 million. $40 million. The best marketing for Hyperliquid is simply having the better product. And this is why I opened another position into Hyperliquid even after getting liquidated. I still have faith in the project. I do genuinely think it's good. The fact that it survived this huge, like, its servers were able to handle all this craze, this downfall. And the drop wasn't even too bad. What is this, a 50% drop? Me saying that 50% drop is not bad. Yeah, 2x leverage. Everybody got liquidated, like I said. Even with 2x leverage, you're gone. Anyway. Events like this give massive credibility, and we'll likely see even more onboarding from here. even for myself included, like seeing all this, all these centralized exchanges getting outperformed by this one decentralized exchange, it makes me trust in the project for Hyperliquid more. In addition, Hype is clearly the strongest asset during this correction. There is no second best Hyperliquid. Whatever happened to Aster? Its competitor, the one that is backed by CZ. Oh boy, 118. How low did we go? 91 cents. I did not look at Aster chart. That's not too bad, actually. Wait, is it? It was rising in that morning. I remember that. Yeah, you got a 50% drop on Aster regardless. It's just to liquidate everybody that is 2x leverage or higher, right? Guaranteed you're liquidated on that asset. So fair enough. And we're still on the way down, 117. RSI is at 29. There's basically an entry here. I don't think I'll enter Aster. Nope. I'm sticking with Hyperliquid. I'm done with too much projects. That's another issue, is that if you have so much to manage, like all this black space you see over here was all filled with positions. How was I going to manage that? In a matter of seconds when everything was getting liquidated, I could not. I could not look into every asset individually. I was just seeing these red numbers keep on piling up on my screen, getting errors, refreshing, half my positions are gone. It was not good. Kareem Allah, you got the short. Great day. Good for you, man. If you did catch that short, you rode a really good profit there on a lot of assets. Me, though, I was just long on everything getting liquidated. Oh, well. No hedging. I don't really do hedging, so I couldn't get any profit on any short. Huge success for Hyperliquid. Binance was having issues. Coinbase was having issues. Lighter was completely down. Hyperliquid, though, they were up and running, and they even bought back 20 million in hype from all the fees. Price might be down today, but the fundamentals are up. And here's like reference tweets, right? I'll read the Hyperliquid one. It says, during the recent market volatility, the Hyperliquid blockchain had zero downtime or latency issues, despite record traffic and volumes. Crazy. HyperBFT consensus and execution handled the spike in throughput gracefully. What is it? 200,000 transactions per second? Really good. This was an important stress test, proving that Hyperliquid's decentralized and fully on-chain financial system can be robust and scalable. This is going to go down in history as like, hey, remember October 10th crash, guys? Remember how Hyperliquid had no issues at all and processed every transaction flawlessly and had no issues with downtime? Meanwhile, you have, what is it? Binance, the biggest centralized exchange in the world, and its son Aster having issues. Like, okay, Hyperliquid is clearly the winner here, guys. Black Swan events are an ideal stress test for trading exchanges. The system's risk and margining implementation functioned as designed, ensuring platform solvency throughout the extreme volatility. That's good. These crashes over here happen because, let me go to SUI specifically. I'll keep bringing up SUI. I'm not going to hang this over SUI's head for the rest of its life. This whole 56% drop. Illiquid exchanges will have this kind of issue. So just be careful out there. This is making me want to like completely switch over to Hyperliquid at this point. I can't. You're not allowed to in where I'm from. So not going to talk specifically too much about myself, but yeah, I'm not allowed to, but hey, with a VPN, you could, small tip, you could probably get around it. Anyways, Jeff, Hyperliquid CEO, founder, whatever, post this huge wall of text that I don't think I'm going to read, but it's here if you care at all. I'm just going to scroll up a little bit. The TLDR on it, though, too long, didn't read. During the recent volatility, Hyperliquid had 100% uptime, zero bad debt. This was Hyperliquid's first cross-margin ADL in more than 2 years of operation. ADL does not change the outcome for any liquidated users. While some specific ADL providing trades were unfavorable, the aggregate effect of ADL was that traders realized significant PNL by closing positions at favorable prices that were only briefly available. This is known as auto-deleveraging, which this guy who is pro-Aster, on the other hand, is claiming is a bad thing. I'm not too sure why. I have to look into auto-deleveraging a little bit more, but that's auto-deleveraging is something to ensure that the exchange remains solvent during these mass liquidation events. It's happened to me on BitUnix exchange, a different exchange, where it seems like some positions would get like partially closed at a loss. Like I didn't hit my liquidation price yet, but it would like lose some of my money. And that was like a, what was it? Kill or fill? KOFOK? KOF? I don't know, something like that. Fill or kill position. Auto deleveraging, that kind of stuff. It's so that the exchange remains solvent, so that we don't get those issues with illiquid exchanges, right? Huge issue as to why a lot of them had these big crashes. No real leverage traders will recommend Hyperliquid after yesterday, says this guy. If you're going to profit, you will be auto-deleveraged and you will not realize gains. But if you're going to get liquidated, you will realize losses. Case closed. Okay. I don't know. Anyways, like I said, the centralized exchanges, because they're centralized, they know who you are. They are offering some form of compensation to users who suffered losses attributable on the exchange. You want to know what I got, guys? I got $10 as a bonus as compensation for my tens of thousands of dollars of loss, which is great. I'll do so much with those $10. It makes me so happy. Thank you, BingX. If you were on BitUnix, it was probably $150 that you got. Other exchanges offered another form of compensation, other forms of compensation, because you could argue, yeah, this is issues with the exchanges. They liquidated you due to, you know, illiquid. Sad part is not the massive crash. The sad part is that thousands of people who grind 24/7 got completely wiped out, even with 2x leverage, and they will never be the same again. This feels like engineered manipulation to make sure no longs are left on alts. If you got hit today, please note that if you made it once, you can do it again. Take this loss as a lesson and come back stronger. I relay this message to you guys. Me personally also going through this. I was grinding, not really 24/7, but you get the point. I'm on here every day as much as I can. I've been streaming for the good part of this whole year, and I just explained earlier in the stream, right? Everything that I earned this year, gone today. No, yesterday, right? All in one day. So I'm back to where I was in December 2024. I'm basically starting from there again in terms of the capital that is left on my account. And that is something that I told myself too. First of all, I'm not upset about this crash. I'm not mentally impacted. I felt nothing. I know I lost a lot of money, but it's like I've made all that money. It took me a bit of time, sure, a couple of months, but I know that I can make that money back. I know what to do and what not to do now. I know which coins are good, which coins are bad. I know a lot more than what I knew in December of last year. So I feel like I've come a long way. This is just but another lesson. I know I'll overcome this, and I don't know, maybe 1 year from now I'll look back at all this situation and laugh at myself, or I don't know, why would I laugh at myself? Anyway, you get the point, right? Me just trying to be motivational here while being apathetic. And this is what I'm talking about, like where people take it to the extreme, and I don't want anybody to feel this way at all. There was this Ukrainian crypto investor named Kostiakudo Konstantin Galish, oh boy, 32 years old, found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound inside his Lamborghini Urus in Kiev. First of all, you have a Lamborghini, just sell the Lamborghini. Oh, but I don't know what this guy's life issue is. But here's like a brief backstory, I guess, and probably why he did what he did. The tragedy came as the crypto market suffered a $19 billion wipeout, as we saw. Authorities have ruled it as a suicide. The crypto community mourns and highlights the urgent need for mental health awareness in times of market events like this. I remember my mother would tell me stories. I wasn't like old enough to understand this back then, but in 2008 market crash, same thing. People were jumping off of buildings. They lost their whole life savings. And this was in like the stock market where there's actual like boomers who have been saving up for years for their retirement. And to see a huge 2008 crash like that, yeah, that was like life-ending worthy for a lot of people. So please remember, life is worth more than money. Only invest what you can afford to lose. Basically what I'm doing, I could afford to lose all this money and live comfortably nonetheless. So I'm perfectly fine. But you guys, message for you guys. Ever feel hopeless? Pause, take a step back. Things will get better, even if it doesn't feel like it right now. More backstory on who this guy is. Oh, he used an award firearm personally presented to him by Kirilo Budanov. Hey, you're complicit in this guy's suicide. Anyway, from what the sources say, he took his own life after Trump announced the 100% tariffs on China. Man, what are you doing, Trump? You're getting people killed, basically. Last year, he managed around $65 million, just so that you can get an idea of how much was under this man's hand. He took funds under a 7% quarterly rate. About 10 million of that belonged to the GUR, the Ukrainian Military Intelligence. The rest came from many influential people in Kiev, including several officials. This morning, many of them woke up in a bad mood. They had invested money with him, and for 3 years, the scheme had been working. He traded futures very cautiously, but a market crash overnight triggered massive liquidations, and he simply bankrupted everyone involved. He had, like, all the most important people's money with him invested in leverage, in alts probably. Even if you were being safe with it, like I said, nobody got saved and everybody got liquidated, wiped clean. Before that, they had scammed a token. Losses there also reached millions. Okay, well, hey, if you scammed, what are you doing with your life? He was crushed by that failure, and then came Trump's announcement, and that is why I guess he decided to kill himself. Yep. So there you go. Don't unalive yourself. Massive news. Bybit official now supports USDC deposits on the SUI network. Part of the reasons why I'm still bullish on SUI despite me getting liquidated at 50 cents. Whatever, SUI. I still like SUI, and I think it's early in its adoption phase. It's a great competition to Solana, which is a great competition to Ethereum. People are going to look for, you know, the faster chain, the cheaper chain, more options for payments. And with USDC, you can use the SUI network, and Bybit is allowing that. So good for adoption. Once again, the 50 cent thing. People argue like, hey, why did this happen? They're asking a bot. It didn't happen. SUI's 24-hour low was 188, not 50 cents. It probably saw a flash crash on some illiquid exchange, or it's bad data. The market was chaos, but that specific drop isn't the actual data. And then people are like, but this is on the Binance chart. Is Binance then an illiquid exchange? The short answer is yes, but the bot denies it. No, Binance had order book gaps on multiple pairs that day. SUI's actual low was 188 though, not 0.50. Someone either caught a wick on a different pair or saw bad data. It's real. Everybody's seeing sub $1 SUI, so I don't know. If you look at CoinMarketCap, it doesn't show that. Where is SUI? And I also did the math on SUI. If SUI genuinely dropped to 50 cents, you'd see it at number 40 on the market cap list. And that did not happen, unless everything else happened at that same time. But the market cap of SUI would have dropped by $6 billion, I think, 7 billion. Maybe even, it would have been a 1 or 2 billion market cap, right? And that just didn't happen. It never happened. Or maybe it did. Oh, it dropped to a 5 billion market cap, according to this. But the price itself dropped to a low of 154, is what it shows here, right? It's issues with the illiquid exchanges, basically. That's why you're seeing 50 cents, 70 cents on stuff like SUI. Look at this. Everything red except for Zcash. What is this project? Even I have to do my research on it because what is going on? To be honest, I've noticed Zcash since the last week. That's when I started hearing about it, looking at it. I'm like, hey, what is this project? It's overbought a couple of times. Why is it rising like crazy? And people are asking AIXBT as well, what are the most interesting to accumulate right now? It says that Zcash is showing that inverse market strength. Hype proved itself during the chaos with no bad debt. Bonk Whale already rotating back in after getting liquidated. Okay, well, that's crazy. Pudgy Penguins, floors sub 3, ETH from 7 point... What am I reading? Is a blue chip dip if you believe in the recovery. Okay, Pudgy Penguins. At this point, I don't even want to know anything about penguins. Stop with the meme coin. Neat and fancy, held floor is better than most. Some Solana DeFi, like Drift and Orderly, printed during liquidations. Okay, the main thing to take out of this is Zcash. While everything is slowly bleeding right now after yesterday's events, we have Zcash that ate up that whole dip and kept going back higher to break all-time highs. Big if true. Do we have this? I have not even looked. We do have it now. We literally, this is just posted today. I mean yesterday, since yesterday. Crazy. You're basically buying at all-time highs right now, so I would advise against that. But hey, it seems to be performing really well. And before I talk about this man and that woman, I want to look at Zcash here. Why are we up? Short squeeze, bullish impact. I mean, fair enough. Yeah, if there's at least one coin that would have survived the short squeeze, there had to be at least one. Would have been this one, Zcash over here. Geopolitical privacy demand, mixed impact. Nothing important here. Privacy coins, it has to do with privacy, I'm assuming then. Yeah, focused on privacy and anonymity. It uses a zero-knowledge snark proof technology that allows nodes on the network to verify transactions without revealing any sensitive information about those transactions. This is reminding me of Monero. Would be good, though, because Monero is a good project. And institutional and community catalysts. Grayscale's Zcash trust speculation and Roger Ver's 48 million DOJ settlement fueled narratives of institutional adoption. It's potential Grayscale ETF that could come out with this, mirroring its Bitcoin strategy. I don't know about Grayscale, but anyway, hey, that seems good. How long has this existed for? Since 2016. How have I never really heard of this? Until now. It's rising in popularity. Well, I guess, fair enough. Hey, this is worth 2014 at some point. What are we doing here? Oh boy, market cap is also up there. So, this is genuine growth. Oh, no, not really. If we had a higher price over here in 2021, and we have a higher market cap over here, it's a small sign of inflation, but there is a max supply of it, 21 million. Are we trying to copy Bitcoin tokenomics here? Is that what's going on? I guess so, because doesn't Monero do the same? No, Monero has an infinite max supply. Interesting. Okay, probably something to look into. Zcash, if you guys care. Justin Trudeau, our former prime minister, is dating Katy Perry, the artist, you know, Baby You're a Firework, or I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It, whatever song. Eye-popping pictures that prove Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau are a couple. There you go. Wow. During Justin Trudeau's regime, he divorced his wife. He has 2 kids, I'm pretty sure. And, well, now he's not marrying, I don't know yet, but, you know, they're a couple with Katy Perry. So there you go. Congrats, I guess. Big pull, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a fan of Katy Perry, but if you care, there you go. All right, guys. So I think that is all for today's stream. What really is there to expect for next week? I know Jerome Powell will be speaking. Little update on me specifically. Tomorrow, I probably will not be streaming. I have family friend invitation, so I'll be probably spending most of the day there. I don't think I'll be home on time to stream. And Monday I probably will not also be home to stream because it's Thanksgiving in Canada, so that will also be spent with family. Tuesday I will also not be here because I'm busy on Tuesday evenings, every Tuesday evening. So that means I will probably come back on Wednesday, if that. Hey, if I can tomorrow I will, but I doubt it. It's usually a late night that we stay with that family friend, so we'll see. In the meantime, look out for Tuesday, see what this guy Powell yaps about. Probably nothing new, because literally nothing has changed. We did not get any economic data, government is still shut down. So we'll be back on Wednesday to discuss all that. We'll discuss whatever Trump has done in the Middle East by then. Shame that he did not win the Nobel Peace Prize. I shared my thoughts on that yesterday, right? Like, what if, you know, Trump didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize? It was announced to that Venezuelan lady. Trump gets furious and is like, you know what? I'm gonna take my revenge on the markets for this. You guys don't want to give me a Nobel Peace Prize after me trying to, you know, bring literal peace to Ukraine, bring peace to the Middle East, bringing peace to India-Pakistan war, to, what was it, Vietnam, Cambodia, or some Asian countries. I remember they were also in a conflict at one point in this year. I'm pretty sure there's some African countries battling it out. I don't know. Yeah, Trump is trying to bring East. He's trying to stop narco-terrorism in Latin America. You know, the war on the drug cartels. Trump is literally doing stuff. What has this Machado lady done? I can't think of anything. Venezuela. What? It's still under Maduro's regime. She hasn't done anything, in my opinion. Sorry, but not sorry. Okay, Trump gets upset about that. He's like, you know what? We're gonna make everybody pay. Screw your cryptos, guys. I'm just gonna find the lamest excuse to make markets crash. What makes markets crash? Tariffs. Who am I gonna tariff? I don't know. What is China doing? Oh, they're sending letters about exports? Okay, I'm gonna tweet about it. And then he puts out the tweet. He says he's gonna consider tariffs, and he's like, oh, I just made markets crash a little bit, but I want it more. How can I make markets crash like crazy? Well, I don't want the stock market to be too bad, especially on a Friday. So we'll wait for the stock market to close. And then at 5 p.m., I'm going to announce a 100% tariff on China and screw the cryptocurrency market over. That could have been option one. Option two would have been like, it's China's fault. I saw a post that came out, but it was fake. I had to block the person who posted that on Twitter. They said that China sold all of their Bitcoin that they held in retaliation to Trump's 100% tariff. Imagine if that was actually the case. It wasn't the case. There was a community note that came out and said, like, no, this is false. China actually didn't sell any of their Bitcoin in a very long time. So they still have probably their 195,000. That is what they're estimated to hold. But it would have been crazy. What if China was behind all this, right? China's like, oh, okay, you announced a 100% tariff on us? Boom, we're immediately going to liquidate everything. It does feel like it was a personal attack on Trump as well, because, I don't know, China wanted to attack Trump directly. Oh, you're no longer going to visit me in South Korea? Well, screw your meme coin. Screw your World Liberty Finance project, huh? Not so free anymore. I mean, free money, because we're making money off of the shorts. I don't know. Maybe something like that happened. Would be pretty funny. Small speculations on my end, but yeah. Okay, I'll end it off with that, guys. What do I expect for the upcoming days is I expect this, so don't expect anything too crazy. Try to DCA if you can. Mainly focus on spot, I think, at this point, is what most people are advising, because it's painful. Leverage right now, it's like, what are we going to do? Have you seen what Andrew Tate has been posting about leverage? He's like, I have one message for you guys. Ha 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 ha. And then he just goes back to his serious rant about, like, nobody's going to get rich with leverage trading. You need to create real money, have a real impact on the world. If you're just watching numbers grow on a screen, God is not going to, like, bless you. He's going to punish you for that. And yesterday was a big lesson for all of those people who think that you're going to get rich by making no impact on the world. Because you're doing dirty money, and you'll know when you're doing dirty money and stuff like that. That was his message, which I disagree with. I feel like this is still a form of working, studying. Sure, you're trading with leverage, but that is why I say you got to be shameless when you trade with leverage. You enter, you exit, don't hold on to positions for too long. If you see green and it's overbought, get out of there. I could have saved a couple tens of thousands of dollars if I did take profits when I was supposed to. But yeah. You can't win them all. But it's okay. We'll recover from it. It's not a big deal. That being said, I wish you guys a great rest of your evening. And I'll see you on Wednesday, like I said. Stay strong, of course. Hold DCA. You know what to do. And yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Good night. Bye.